And so, my dear ones, how hard it is for us to let go of anything. That song is all about surrender. It's all about not worrying about the how of things, how it's going to get done, how it's going to happen. It's none of our business. The how is none of our business. And when are we ever going to get that? Because you and I, most of our lives are occupied in the how we're going to make things happen. And of course, when we're doing that, very often we're impeding and we are blocking the process. Your job, my job, is to get clear. Is to get absolutely clear on the good that I wish, desire to express, to experience, to accomplish, to achieve. And the how of it is up to the Holy Spirit of life. The how of it is up to the creative process, the law of life that knows exactly how to do that. Knows exactly how to do that. But you and I can't help, as the song says, question. We have our questions. We want to know. How, when, where. We really do. And that's our insecurity showing. And that's our living in tomorrow showing. That's our living from the past showing up. We're not in the now moment. We're not here, we're not now. Your job, my job, is to get very clear, state in clarity the good that we are willing to be open and receptive to showing up in our lives and allowing to come into our lives. And once we get very clear on that, then we need to back away from it and let it happen, and not be concerned about it and not be worried about it. And don't dare put a time limit on it. Don't tell God how long God has got to do this, that, or the other for or through you. And once we get clear, the amazing thing is sometimes we become even more unsettled once we're clear. We become more in ourselves. And it's okay. That's all right. Just be it. Give credence to it. Allow it. Don't own it. Don't associate with it. Don't make it your own. It's just a feeling passing through you that comes up out of bad habits of worry and concern from the past. Because that's what we're good at, and that's how we've been doing life, worrying and being concerned. And just let it be and say no. The truth came to me. The truth was revealed in me and to me and through me, that this good is here for me and I'm supposed to have it. So I'm trusting that is the truth and that is so. So I will back that up with everything I'm thinking. I will back that up with everything I'm feeling. I will go about my business knowing that's being taken care of, and I'll take my sticky hands off it so that it can do what it needs to do in order to show up as the good that I have said yes to. The good that I have said yes to. So the process of your life and mine as far as bringing good into our lives, whether that's to do with a mending or a fixing or a healing or a revealing or an insight or a receiving of something or the releasing of something, regardless of what that is, your job, my job, is simply to get clear about it. This is the time, this is the moment. I am ready now to handle this, to settle this, to allow this to be no longer a part of my life. That's my job. And then my job is to back that up. Back it up. Empower it through the way I'm thinking around it when it comes to mind. Oh yes, the pity thing in the stomach happens and I feel angst about it. Oh yeah, that's just an old habit. I have taken care of that. I have stated my good. I have declared my good. I've said yes to my good. I'm not going to sabotage it now through some old bad habit of mine that always goes into the what ifs and the buts. The buts and ifs have to go. What if it doesn't happen? But I don't see any sign of it. You're not going to see any sign of it. It never said anywhere that you would see signs of it. It said, ask and you shall receive, and it doesn't say, and you'll see a ton of signs that this is on its way. It just says, ask and you shall receive. It doesn't say, be mired around the asking. Worry yourself about asking. Doubt the asking process. It says, ask and you shall receive. And so the business is to keep our worry fingers away, our controlling fingers away, our doubting fingers away from what it is we know we want to demonstrate and realize and bring into our lives, because we can. That's the way we are made. We are set up as a creative force with the power to create, to co-create stuff and things in our lives. And we are masters at doing that on the negative side of life. Have you noticed that? You could sit down and write many books about all the negative things you've created in your life. Volumes. A library. You're masterful, and so am I. But you see, it works the very same way on the affirmative side of life. It's the same process. Now, if I had been able to get my wits about me sufficiently to know that affirmation works equally, has equal opportunity in my life to work and create affirmative things in my life would have been so very different. If I had the credibility there, if I had the belief there, if I had the faith in it there. The negative in me wants to choke that thought. Don't go there. Keep staying in the negative. And it's a real good example of how quickly, the negative wants to strangle the affirmative. Really and truly. Because it's a bad habit. It's the ego saying, are you out of your mind? Stop that nonsense. Stop that nonsense. You'll scare yourself. You'll frighten yourself. You'll kill yourself if you do that. See, because the ego is always afraid of annihilation. It's always threatened by anything different, anything new. Anything other than what it knows. And what it knows is to be in doubt, is to be in fear, is to be anxious, is to worry. It's the human side of us. And the ego is so blessed and so beautiful and so wondrous in balance. And it's your job and my job to keep it in balance, to take care of it, to nurture it and nourish it sufficiently so that it's not in pain and worry and concern most of the time. So, what good thing is in your mind at the moment to be realized? What good thing are you dancing around and thinking, oh, I don't think I could do that. That's too much. I've never been able to do it before. What makes me think I can do it now? And then the ego will come and say, yeah, you're right, you did that, and look what happened, and remember you thought you could do that. Yeah, and that was disastrous. Yeah, and look at all those promises you make to yourself, but you never keep one. What makes you think you're going to do it now? Don't be ridiculous. It's the committee forming in mind, because the ego always creates a committee. That has to stop. If you want to realize you're good, that has to stop. How do we stop the nonsense? We have to get still. We have to get quiet. We have to allow our minds to be restful. You can't turn your mind off, but you can bring it to rest. You can allow it to rest itself. Because the mind is always active. So how do we do that? We have to go beyond the mind into consciousness. Now, consciousness uses the human mind. While we're here on planet Earth, we need that, or we couldn't operate. But consciousness is dictated to by your thoughts and feelings around everything. So we have to go beyond the mortal mind, we have to go beyond it, into consciousness. And into consciousness, you are in the realm of creation. Everything's available to you when you're there, as far as mending, fixing, healing, releasing, attracting, whatever. Integrating, transforming, unifying, realizing, whatever that is. You are not going to be able to do it, and neither am I without, I'm using the P word, practice. I'm using the D word, discipline. It's not going to happen without our deliberation, with our showing up, putting in the time, the energy, and the effort. And 5 minutes meditation here and there is not going to do it. Reading the great book once in a while is not going to do it. Taking a seminar once in a while is not going to do it. Coming to the sanctuary odd times is not going to do it. They are all great helps. Great helps. But what's going to do it is you showing up for you, sitting yourself down and telling yourself, this is time now for me to be in my own company and to open that company up to something greater and better and more awesome than I am. So you have to begin somewhere. Begin with a minute, work it up to 5. Choose a space. Have a little place at home or in the garden, somewhere that's your place to be. In your own company, undisturbed. In your own company, undisturbed. And it doesn't matter if you sit down there and in the first 10 seconds you're as fidgety as all get up and as uncomfortable as all get up and wanting to run out the door straight away. That's okay. That's a good time spent. That's a good time spent. Oh, it's so hard to be with our own thoughts, my dear ones, consciously with our own thoughts. We're with our own thoughts all the time, but usually they're running amok. No control over them. Sit down to be in control of your thoughts is challenging in the beginning. And we are always in the beginning. And it doesn't matter how masterful we become in our meditative practices, etc. There are times when there's dissonance. There are times when we're less available to ourselves. There are times when there is confusion. There are times when there is chaos. And you show up anyway. And you just let the chaos be, and you let the confusion be. And it's very uncomfortable for people to hear this. People don't want necessarily to hear this. It's kind of too mundane. It's too ordinary in an extraordinary way. And yet it's the key. It is the key to your well-being and to mine. And it keeps us out of mischief. You'll be amazed at how much of your mind is occupied with complaints and judgments and condemnations and gossipy things and life-depleting thoughts and negative, cloudy, doomy, gloomy thoughts and so on. You'd be amazed. But it isn't surprising. Look at what we're watching on television. It's hardly a program on television that doesn't have some kind of mayhem in it, some kind of destruction and terribleness and awfulness. That's why I endeavor to watch safe TV, like, the Food Channel, the National Geographic Channel, except when those little critters go looking for their dinner. Turn it off then. then I turn it off. And, you know, the History Channel and so forth. KCET, yeah, it's good. Those kinds of things I endeavor to watch. Something that leaves me feeling good, or gives me a good idea, or plants a nice seed in my mind as a good thing. Not the news at night. Never watch the news at night. If you want to watch the news, watch it early in the morning. You don't want to fall asleep with these images and thoughts in your head, you see. So what's going on in your mind? What's going on in my mind? Because whatever it is, it's creating my persona, it's creating my mental atmosphere, my emotional atmosphere, it's creating the way my day is going to go, whatever it is that's going on in my mind, good, bad, or indifferent. So we watch the mind, we watch the mind. I came across this book, it was sent to me actually, every now and again. My friend who is with Penguin Books sends me books that are just out. And this one is called Through the Flames. It's just out. We don't have it yet in the bookstore. And it's about a man that comes through a very bad plane crash and is very seriously injured in it. And he comes through it, but he's it was a wonderful experience for him in the sense that he had all kinds of realizations as a result of it, and got very interested in committing to his spiritual unfoldment as a consequence of it. And you know, we think we have it bad sometimes, but you know, it's nothing compared to what you hear about other people and what you see and hear and read and experience because you know friends and so on and so forth. But in this one, in this particular part of his book, Through the Flames, the section is on the path. He's talking about meditation. And of course, it's a great help to us. Wouldn't spend so much time on it if it wasn't. It's a scary word for many people, meditation, because it's what we've associated in the past with, you know, spiritual masters. They meditate, that's what they do. But ordinary, everyday, average people, they don't, wherever an average person is, I don't know, I've never met one yet, but anyway, they don't necessarily do that because they just don't have the time or whatever it is that they don't have in order to do that meditating thing. And he says here on page 106, if our healing process is filled with concerns about the future, how will we manage? How will we fit in? How will people see us? Those thoughts and concerns will arise in our meditation. It's amazing when you sit down to meditate, all the dreadful things that show up in your mind, all the negatives, you know. It's an amazing thing. It's like you're assaulted from all sides by that, and then intermittently, oh my God, did I leave the kettle on? Oh, the laundry needs to be done. I shouldn't be sitting here doing this. I should be doing the laundry. Oh, I have to pick up that. And then this is what all goes on. This is normal. This is normal. This happens in everybody's mind, whether it's a Dalai Lama or whether it's you or whether it's me. These things happen. But you just allow them to happen. That's the difference. You see, we don't think this, I can't do this. Those of us who are committed don't say, oh, I can't. It's obvious I can't meditate. Look what's going on. I can't meditate. No, we don't. We say, isn't that interesting? My goodness me, busy mind. And you look at those of you who will remember slide shows, click, slide, then click the next slide, click the little roundy thing going on, click the next. Well, you look at your thoughts like that. You look at it like a slide, like you're observing a slide, and you look at the thought, no matter if it's good, bad, or indifferent, awful, terrible, beautiful, and you say, isn't that interesting? Next. And the next one comes in, oh yeah, that's interesting, next. That's interesting, next. And you just do that until there's no more clicking. And the moment comes when there is no more clicking. And in between all those amazing thoughts that are scary, frightening, funny, whatever, pearls of wisdom begin to appear. Pearls of wisdom begin to appear. And then you're beginning to get the benefit of simply showing up. Showing up and sitting your butt down on the chair and open to the possibility of some great insight happening. If it does, terrific. If it doesn't, terrific. You put your time in, you did it. And every meditation is a good meditation, regardless of whether you're sitting there tapping your feet or your fingers saying, I wish to God this clock would go off. It should be over now. This is such a waste of time. You showed up. You put in the time. Well done. And that's what it's about. People have these notions about meditation as being this, I don't know what, supersonic cosmic experience that takes you out of your body, out of everything. You're running through the galaxy, sailing on stars and floating around on clouds and all these color. It's like you're expecting a color concert or something, except that you become the color. You're part of the color. You're this and that. Whatever psychedelic drugs do for people, I don't know. I've never had the experience. It just didn't cross my path at the time when those things were happening. I don't know, but our expectations are enormous and amazing when it comes to this kind of thing. That could happen, and it may not happen. If it happens, let me tell you this, that's a distraction. That's not a great meditation. That's a distraction. True and deep meditation takes you into total silence, and sometimes it's total darkness, but it's a darkness that's bounding with light. I can't describe it, but anyway, it's just a feeling of no time, no place, no personhood, no nothing. It's just a feeling. And all the rest is just distraction on the way to that. And once you've had it once, you only need to have it once, because once you've had it once, you know it's there, it's real, it's true, it can happen again. Once I've done something once, I can do it again, and I can do it again, and I can do it again. Is it worth the effort? Is it worth the tedium? Is it worth all of that? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. My gosh, it takes you what, 2-3 minutes to brush your teeth? And you have to do that every day. You could take 2-3 minutes to sit still and practice sitting still. And nothing terrible would happen as a consequence of that in your day. You wouldn't miss out on anything by doing that if you took 2 or 3 minutes. Really, you wouldn't miss a darn thing. And so he says, our thoughts draw us from the present and into the future or the past. Healing and recovery can only happen in the present, as it is true of all experience. Meditation has been shown to be a powerful tool for bringing us back to the present moment now. It is the essence of the practice. The mind calms, the body ceases and eases itself. Medical skills and the human body's miraculous propensity for healing flow then effortlessly through us. You see, the greatest healing happens when we're sleeping, because we're not getting in the way of it. But when you and I are actively, consciously easy in our minds, easy in our bodies, and consciously inviting restoration and healing and so on, that is awesomely powerful. Powerful. People who meditate, their blood pressure stabilizes. All kinds of bodily things come into balance when they're in meditation. It's proven. It's a well-known fact. Medical fact. You know, sometimes you go into when you go into the doctor's office now, they take your blood pressure. Well, if you're late and you run all the way, when they take your blood pressure, it's not a pretty picture. So I say to the doctor's attendant, just take the blood pressure when I'm on the way out. It'll be different. And it is. I said, I just ran all the way up the stairs, and before that I ran from the car, so, you know, I don't expect it to be anything but what you're telling me. When you bring everything down, when you bring everything to that state of quietude and peacefulness and rest, the body has great ability to restore, replenish, and replace whatever seems to need it. as long as you're not getting in the way of it with worry. He says, calm allows clarity from which skillful understanding and wisdom can arise. In meditation, we observe thoughts, feelings, and sensations without clinging to them. We push them, or pushing them away, or judging them, or owning them. You see? That's what gets us into trouble. Claiming the thoughts that are in our minds, identifying with the thoughts that are in our minds, owning the thoughts that are in our mind. Yes, I am sick. Yes, I am this. Yes, I am lacking. Yes, I am not enough. Yes, 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 to all the negatives. You and I are called to just observe them like we would the slide projector, like an observer, a witness. We're not part of it. We're seeing it, and it's there. It's a fact, and it's real as a fact, but I'm not owning it. It's just something passing through. And you are not going to let it pitch its tent. It's passing through. Thoughts don't have to be my thoughts. They are simply thoughts that arise. There is no possession of those thoughts, feelings, and emotions. They are not happening to a self. There is only the experience. It is as if to say there are thoughts but not a thinker, feelings but not a feeler, emotions but not an emoter. Now, that's advanced meditative skill. To allow the thoughts to be there, to allow the feelings to arise, to allow the emotions to arise, but not to own them and not to make them mine. These are things in and of themselves, and I can dispossess them or I can own them. Depending upon the choice I make, so goes my life. Thoughts are things, they arise, I can claim them, I can own them, or I can say, no, you're not mine, you're just passing through. I will not identify with you. You are just simply a very, very short visiting guest. As a guest, you're welcome, but you're not staying. You're on your way. Insight, this is called insight meditation, focuses on awareness of thoughts, feelings, and sensations, seeing them for what they are, thoughts, feelings, and sensations that arise in everyone and everywhere. And you get to pick and choose what are yours and what are not. As such, they are real, but they should not be accepted as reality. This is seeing things as they truly are and can lead to a sense of peace and equanimity and equality of realization and demonstration that my thoughts are not my thoughts until I make them my thoughts. So you see all your thinking and all your sensations as just transitory visiting things. And you get to say whether you're going to invite them in or not. You get to say whether there's no room in the inn for them or whether there is. Don't associate the thinker with the thought. Thoughts come from all over the place. They come from within, they come from without. Be careful with what you decide about your thoughts, your feelings, and your emotions. It is groundwork for the awakening of wisdom. It is important to note that this does not mean suppressing feelings. Denial of feelings does not move us forward and can lead us to a plethora of psychological issues. So you're not in denial. You're seeing them. They're real. You're seeing them. You're feeling them. They're real. But you have a decision to make around them. Do you own them or not? Is this what you want to entertain or not? And then he goes on to say, with conversation well developed, we learn how to observe whatever thoughts and feelings may arise without adding our storylines to them. Oh my gosh. Once we start the story around the thinking and the story around the feeling and the story around, we're finished. We've done ourselves in. Once the nightmares begin and the horror stories gather, we've given ourselves a good bout of negativity, which doesn't serve us at all. So leave the stories out. Just see the thing for what it is. It's a thought. And when people ask me, well, how do I stop being angry? I always, for example, or any feeling, I always say, feel the anger. Feel the anger, welcome the anger, let it be. And ask yourself, what does this anger feel like now? How is this anger affecting me now? Oh, okay. I feel a thud in my solar plexus. Oh, I feel heat. Heat. My body is feeling heat. I feel agitated. I feel out of it. I feel I'm losing control. I feel. Never go, ever, ever, never go to the reason why you're angry. If you go to the reason why you're angry, the story will envelop you. And you'll get madder and madder and redder and hotter and angrier. And it's not good. Don't go to the reason. Stay with the feeling of the anger. Stay with the feeling of the anger. Just allow yourself to see how that feels in your body, how it affects your mind, how it affects your body, and stay with that. And then, having given it the respect that it deserves, you say, okay, I'm going to breathe deeply, I'm going to release it, and I'm going to let it go. Because it is not good for me, or anything, or anyone around me. That's what we do with that. Do not go to the story and the why you're angry. And he has another wonderful paragraph, but I'm just going to finish up with what he concludes with. And it's a Rumi poem. And I love Rumi. And here's what Rumi tells us to do with all those negatives that visit us. And he says, you, O human, it's called The Guest House, this poem. You, O human, are a guest house. Each dawn a new arrival, be it joyfulness, sadness, or ugliness. A moment of awareness presents itself, visiting unexpectedly. Make them all feel welcome, the good, the bad, the indifferent. Make them all feel welcome, the entire lot of sorry guests who impudently vacate your house of all its belongings. Shove everything else out of your mind that's good. Yet treat each of them as an honored guest. They may be clearing the way for some new joy. Darkness, shame, enmity, joyfully welcome them all into your house. Let gratitude fill you, for every one of them has come from afar to offer you guidance. It's all in the mind and how we handle what comes to mind. There's your power. There's where you have control. There's where you decide whether it's going to be a good or a bad day, a good or a bad moment, a good or a bad experience in the mind. And as the mind goes, so go the feelings. And as the feelings and the mind together go, so goes your behavior. And as your behavior goes, so produces the experiences in your life. Your mind is fantastic. Your thoughts are amazing. And they are the key to your well-being, to your fullness, to your plenty, to your health, to your grace and ease, to your relationships, and to your creative expression. Watch the mind. Take control of the mind, and you become unstoppable as far as good realizing in your life is concerned. It's as challenging and as simple as that. But simple doesn't equal easy. But can you imagine how your life would change? You know this, right now you know this. If you were to change your thinking around so many things, look at how your life would change like that. And you cannot sit there and say, I can't do this. Because as Sister Stanislaus said to us in kindergarten, don't tell me I can't, child, because I can't means I won't. Words of wisdom indeed. So I'm leaving you with that, and leaving me with that. So today, we are going to think good thoughts. We are going to be aware of our thoughts, manage our thoughts, handle our thoughts, and see the blessings and the graces that arise out of that.